Right, well, coming soon to a town near you, universal credit. It's supposed to simplify things by rolling 6 benefits into one payment and to make work pay because people won't be penalised for doing extra hours. The principle behind it is even supported by the opposition, so what's not to like? Well, plenty, apparently. A succession of local MPs took part in an emergency Commons debate, and as Catherine Stancheshin explains, Labour want the rollout to be put on hold.
Universal credit will arrive at job centres in 6 areas of the Midlands in the run-up to Christmas, including parts of Wolverhampton and Birmingham. But one Labour MP pleaded with the government to put those plans on hold.
Mr Speaker, disaster looms for tens of thousands of Birmingham citizens. Come and listen to some of the heartbreaking cases. People in tears in our constituency offices saying, what are we going to do over Christmas? Hear firsthand the real life experience of the consequences of your actions. Have you no heart? No. Pause universal credit and then get it right.
Labour supports the principle of universal credit, but says the way it's being implemented is causing financial hardship, including a rise in referrals to food banks.
The 6 weeks waiting period is pushing claimants further into debt, and with some of these claimants facing further delays. If they have complicated circumstances, this is forcing claimants to borrow money, rely on food banks and face eviction whilst waiting for their first payment.
Conservative backbenchers rallied to the government cause, saying universal credit had replaced a dysfunctional system and where it's operating, it is working.
Evidence shows that universal credit is helping people into work faster and helping them into work and staying there longer.
With Herefordshire, Shropshire, Walsall and Coventry all due to get universal credit in the early part of next year, it's a policy the government must get right if it doesn't want to risk a backlash from voters.
Catherine Stancheshin reporting, and the All-Party Work and Pension Select Committee has supported those calls for a pause in the rollout of universal credit. They say the 6-week wait before claimants receive their first payments is causing acute financial difficulty. Mark Garnier, how much pressure does it take before your government does actually concede the point and pause this? Have a heart, asks Jack Dromey.
Well, that's going to be up to David Gork, the Work and Pension Secretary. But I think what was missing in this piece was the fact that there are loans available to people, which is 50% of the first month. That's then repayable over up to a 9-month period. So I think the question we have to ask ourselves, because I've been talking to my constituency office and to the Citizens Advice Bureau and, in Wild Forest in Kidderminster, to try to understand kind of what's going on. And actually we're not seeing the overwhelming numbers of people coming through who are having troubles over this. So it's entirely possible.
But there's signs that a quarter having delays of even more than 6 weeks. It's even worse.
Look, I agree, and I wouldn't want to shirk that point at all, because I think that what we're trying to do is mimic with this the employment, the way people are employed, and people are employed on a monthly basis. 75% of people are paid monthlies in arrears, and we want to ape that as best we possibly can. If it doesn't work like that, then I think there's a legitimate argument against this. And I think that the way it's being rolled out, which is being rolled out piecemeal, and don't forget it's not going to be completely rolled out until 2022. Okay. What that will do will exercise out these potential problems and that we can deal with them. But I think it is, look, I wouldn't want to shirk away from it, but I do think the point.
And the key point, as Wendy Morton said there, is that they get more people into work more quickly, and that's got to be a central argument in this.
Well, that is, but first of all, the government has already conceded on the 55p phone lines, and thankfully they've listened and taken that away. Well, yeah, but I think what we're asking for is a pause because of the people and the circumstances they're in, especially with the private landlords, who are then serving notices on people to move out, and it becoming very, very difficult for them to do that. I agree with Mark what he's saying, that we should listen to those people, but exactly what we're asking for is let's have a pause, let's see where the trials have gone, see if the pilot areas have they succeeded, and let's work better to support the people, which is what it was meant to do by IDS, and he actually says that we should look at it as well.
Well, we saw an earlier piloted rollout of this in places including Rugby, where there's an increase in homelessness and reliance on food banks. I mean, that really suggests that there's genuine hardship there.
There is, but we do see some numbers which are being chucked around, and we saw some crazy numbers coming out in Gloucester, and it turned out that there were just 8 people instead of 600, I think, would be suggested to have been made homeless as a result of this. We need to do a lot of work to understand quite what's going on, and I, as I say, I do concede this is not without fault, but we need to make sure that it's the system that's at fault or the implementation of the system, and that's two separate elements.
Okay, thanks again for...
Mark's got a sensible approach, and I think we need to quickly look at it.
Okay.
That's what we want to do.
Okay. Thank you for the moment. Thanks. Right, well, let's catch up now with the rest of the political